Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Our Favorite Bible Stories podcast. My name is Yudochi, and I am your host. So today, you will most likely be watching this as a video. It's because I had this really interesting idea. I actually got it today when I was supposed to be taking a nap, but I just couldn't fall asleep. And I was like, you know how people do those like ranking videos where they rank different things? I should rank the characters in the Bible stories that I talk about. And so, if you do not know, Our Favorite Bible Stories podcast is a podcast where I literally just talk about the Bible. I pick a story and I run through it. I tell you my thoughts, I tell you how I feel about it, and then we move on from there. And so, I was like, I may as well rank these characters. Then my sister gave me the even better idea to rank them twice. And so to rank it before I do any of like the prep I do for the Bible studies or before I actually record the podcast, rank them based off of just my memory, and then rank them again at the end and see if there's anything that I would change. So unfortunately, I have already done my prep and stuff like that, so I don't expect that the rankings would change very much. But in case they do, we're going to do it anyway. We're going to record it. So I am recording this before the podcast. Okay, as you can see on the screen, today we will be talking about the book of Esther, or specifically the story of Esther. And so let's get into the rank. Okay, we have a few characters here. I'm not going to do everybody. There's a lot. There are so many more characters than the ones that are depicted here. These are the ones that I thought were like the main characters. These are the people we're talking about. This is the focus of the podcast, focus of the story. So we have Esther, our main girl, Esther. You can already tell. You already know where Esther's going. Like, don't even play. We know where Esther's going. We got our main girl, Esther. We have Mordecai. Mordecai is the cousin of Esther. Yeah, he's her cousin, but he acts like her uncle, but he actually honestly acts like her father. But he's her cousin. We have Xerxes, which is the king of Persia. Spoiler alert, he gets married to Esther. We have Haman, who is our main villain. Enough said. We got Haman. We have Vashti, who is the old queen of Persia before Esther takes over. Well, that's not really accurate. Vashti is removed as queen, and then some years go by, and then Esther becomes queen. If you're confused by that, go listen to this podcast. Thanks. And then we have Zeresh and co. Zeresh is the wife of Haman, and co is just like his friends and advisors and whatnot and all of that. Yeah, there's some people that are missing. Like, I could have done the eunuchs. I could have done the gate men that were plotting. Spoiler alert, there's people plotting. I could have done, well, those are really the only other people I could have done. But, like, they only take up a few lines. So these are our main people. And so normally when you do a ranking, there's like the S, A, B, C, or whatever it is. But I decided to come up with some rankings or some ranking titles that are more fitting for the book of Esther. And if you get confused by any of them, once again, go listen to the podcast. So our first one, our top dog, this one everybody want to get, is up to half the kingdom. That means if I was a queen, half my kingdom is going to you. Shout out Xerxes. Our next one, royal robe, horse, parade. This is because, well, another spoiler alert, somebody gets honored later on in the story of Esther. And so that's like our A. Like, I'm not going to give you half the kingdom, but you can get my royal robe, my horse, and my parade. There we go. Up to the poor. So, in this story, somebody throws a pour, which is basically like throwing dice or doing lots. And whatever the poor says is what is done. So this one is like, you know what? I don't know how I feel about you. It's a little up in the air. We're going to see what the poor says. Would not bow. This is another thing based off of the story of Esther. Once again, go listen to the podcast. But I don't really mess with you. I don't respect you. I don't honor you. I don't think you're that great. Not gonna bow. And then shout out Mordecai for that one. And then this one is Island of Perpetual Tickling. So if you have ever watched VeggieTales, This is from their their version of Esther, because what really happened in the book of Esther in life is a little dark. So island of perpetual tickling it is. This is the worst one. You're banished. You're banished if you get this one. Get out of my sight. I don't want to see you. I don't want to look at you. None of it. And so those are our categories. And so let's start ranking some people. Okay. I'm going to start with Haman only because this isn't even a conversation. Y'all know what it is. Don't play. You already know what it is. Yeah, Haman's going here. Also, I'm doing this on Canva, so if you see some things pop up, no, you didn't. Thank you. Haman sucks. Haman, I'm not even lying to you. Most people have some type of like redeeming quality. We're like, okay, I can understand where he was coming from. I don't, none of that for Haman. He messed around and he found out. He found out. Don't be playing in people's faces. He was pushed by pride, by greed. He was so conceited, so arrogant, and he caused his own downfall. Spoiler, he fell. And he caused it. So I'll mess with Haman. Island perpetual tickling for you, sir. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's do another easy one. It's my girl. She was offered up to half the kingdom several times, and she should have taken it. She would have been a better queen than Xerxes. Would have been a better ruler. Well, she already was queen, but she would have been a better ruler than Xerxes. Xerxes didn't know what he was doing. Xerxes didn't know what he was doing. But our girl Esther, yeah. Courageous, bold, humble, intelligent, wise, all of it. That's our girl. Mordecai. Nah. He's up there too. He took care. Esther was an orphan. He took care of her. He raised her. He literally went by the palace to see how she was doing. Once again, he really moved like he was her father. He was high-key better than most of the fathers in the Bible. And I do stand on that. He was much better than a good portion of the fathers that are depicted. Looking at you, Jacob. Anyway, yeah. And then he couldn't stand for injustice. He could sniff out a snake. Yeah. Have to. And you know what? I love this duo. Esther and Mordecai should rule the kingdom together. Because as we're about to get to, Xerxes did not know what was going on. Xerxes is up to the poor for me. There are moments when I'm like, oh, you're making sense. Like there's a part at the beginning of Esther where there's like a huge feast. And he's like, the people only to drink what they want. Giving people the luxury to choose, that was not common, you know? And I think, once again, Edward Dochi can come and let me know if this is wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was for the public festival. So he held a festival for the nobility and the guards and all the higher people in society. And then he held another festival, and I'm pretty sure the festival that's for everybody, all of his citizens, where he could really demand anything. He was like, y'all don't gotta drink if you don't want to. Like, that's common sense. But then when the man tastes some of the grapes, when he gets a little wine in his system, he don't know what's going on. Then he be making the dumbest things. And then he doesn't want to rule his kingdom. Like, he stays giving the signet ring to anybody who... I don't know. I'm getting more upset as I'm thinking about this, and I'm about to put him down to would not bow, because he's such an incompetent ruler. He's so incompetent that it's honestly, how'd you get here? Maybe I should have looked up how he became. I'm sure it was probably like his daddy was king or whatever, but like, he didn't stand on business. Well, sometimes he did, but he was standing on other people's business, not his own. Like, no, sir, are you king or not? But because he has some redeeming moments, like choosing Esther, and just using common sense in thuggery. Yeah, amiibo. Just using a small. We'll give him up to the purr. Vashti. Vashti. Yeah. Royal robe, horse, parade. And I won't take slander. I won't. She gets no slander. If it is true, so Vashti was the queen before Esther was queen. And Xerxes, when he was drunk, when he was drunk, he basically asked her to appear before all of the people that were at the festival so that way he can brag about how pretty she was. Like, excuse me, is she an object? Xer- Xerxes really may go down to would not bow. I just be serious. But yeah, he wanted to parade her in front of all these people, potentially in an immodest attire, which means no attire. Potentially, the critics are out on that one. The scholars say different things, but it's most likely he asked her to appear with her crown and potentially only her crown. And she said, absolutely not. She said, not on this earth. It's not happening. And that's kind of crazy. Like, she went against the king, because like back in that day, going against the ruler, that's hardcore. And she stood on business. And she said, no, I'm not doing any of it. I respect that. I can't put her up to half the kingdom though, because she's only at the beginning, and we don't know much about her character. We just know about one decision she made, which we agree with. But like, we don't know that much about her character, so I can't put her on up to half the kingdom. But she is getting the royal robe, she is getting the horse, she's getting the parade, period. And then Zeresh and Co. mm, mm, mm. I'm torn between Would Not Bow and Island of Perpetual Tickling. Because no, but they're not as bad as Haman. But is it but are they only not as bad as Haman because they didn't have the power to be as bad as Haman? But then because they didn't have the power, we don't know. Okay. Okay. Mm. Hmm. Just a hard one. I think I'm gonna go Would Not Bow. They're just Zeresh and his friends, his advisors, they were telling him to do dumb things. They were. They were not. They were being enemies of progress. We're not going to sit here and act like they weren't. Like, they were not kind. They weren't kind. But and they definitely egged on Haman's dumb schemes. Hmm. You know what? That one may change. That one may change. As of right now, because they technically did not have the power to do anything and they just told him to do the stuff, I'm gonna put on Would Not Bow. And based off of what we were given to the story, we don't know if they were motivated by like greed or stuff like that. Like the way we know Haman was. And pride and all those different things. So for now, I'm gonna do Would Not Bow, but I am open to revisiting that. I am. Okay. Those are our rankings for the first part of this video. I'm gonna go do the podcast and then I'll return and see what I think later. Bye for now.
One eternity later.
Okay, I am back. It has been a few days since I recorded the podcast. So let's see how these rankings go. Okay. I think I'll start with the people that I'm not changing. Esther, she still got it. She's still up to half the kingdom. She's not going anywhere. Neither is Mordecai. He's still up to. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna sound crazy, and I do think that Esther, she had it. Like she was so courageous, so brave. Mordecai really ate up the story though. Like he was a model person throughout the whole entire thing, but it's not called the Book of Mordecai, so they're gonna be on the same ranking for now. Vashti, still royal robe horse parade. I was talking to my sister, and she was trying to act like Vashti, like, we just don't know enough about Vashti, so she can't be there. Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Based off what I do know about her, she's staying there. And if I knew even more, she'd be higher. Well, actually, we don't know that because I don't know more. She could be lower too. I'm not sure about her personality. But from what I do know, royal robe, horse, parade, period. Xerxes. This is another one. I think after the podcast, I would keep him at up to the poor. I think that he has his strong moments are really strong and his weak moments are really weak. Like he's not, and I think it averages out to up to the poor. Like I think that's what it is. I don't think he's actually like in the middle for anything. I don't think he's just like I think he has really strong moments, really weak moments, but because of the intensity of each of those moments, it averages out to the middle, up to the poor. So I'm gonna keep it like that. I think he's up to the poor. Also, when Haman was exposed, Xerxes went on business. He said, you're trying to threaten my wife and Mordecai, who I just saved?" And then when he left and came back, he was like, you're going to try something on my wife in my very presence. Yeah, he meant that. He meant that. You see what I mean? His strong moments are so strong, but his weak moments, they're just, yeah, he's up to the poor. Would not bow. For Zeresh and Co, I'm gonna keep it there. Cause at least Zeresh, the one thing that I'm gonna say about Zeresh and Co is I don't think they had the same hatred that Haman had. I think they were just like, oh, what's going to further Haman's success in the palace? And it's like, oh, okay, somebody who's not respecting him, like you gotta show him, you gotta show him who's big dog. Because when they heard that that Haman had to basically be a servant to Mordecai when Mordecai was being honored, they were like, Haman, you're done. They were like, you're finished. Even his wife was like, you're done. Like, I'm so sorry. You're done. You've been eaten up. So at least I don't think they had hatred. I think they were just moving with whatever wisdom they had. Despite that, they still did encourage him to kill somebody. And for that, they stay and would not bow. Haman, enough said. He's staying there. So yeah, this is my final ranking. I wouldn't change anything. I think what I said before was accurate, and based off doing the podcast, talking to some people, it's gonna stay like this. All right. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Oh, subscribe. Go listen to the podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. It's on Spotify and Apple Music. Editor Eudochi here. I also want to know your ranking, so leave a comment and let me know how you would rank the characters in the book of Esther. May God bless you. Have a great day. Okay, bye.